This is Share the Vision, presented by the Resource Center, a discussion of the programs and services of the Resource Center and about issues related to individuals with disabilities. Today, we wrap up Toys for Tots at Toy Central at the Allied Alarm Building in Falconer. Starting the show with me is Steve Watterson, Community Relations Director at the Resource Center. Steve, welcome to Santa's Closet.
Yeah, it's beautiful in here, isn't it? Look at all the toys and other gifts. Thousands, would you say? Thousands of toys in here?
Easily.
We've got probably 14, 16 people in here going through and picking out toys for the children and families on their list. So this is great. The season of Toys for Tots is in full swing and reaching its last hectic but fun few days.
It's important that we say at this point in the program that what you're listening to, radio listeners, was recorded the afternoon of Friday, December 18th, a culminating moment for Toys for Tots every year, as all the toys have been or are being collected here, and the distribution, the sorting, the picking is underway. You might hear a little bit of talking in the background as people are working quite furiously on this right now. Steve, I think we're going to try and find the coordinators, Heather Brown and Terry Johnson, some of the other volunteers here, and just see how the season has gone.
Sounds good. Yeah, today was the last day that the toy collection boxes were out at probably 80, 90 different businesses and other organizations in the community. So now this is the fruits of all of that is now finally coming in, and they're getting started with the separating, the sorting, and the distributing of toys.
The next voice you hear is that of Heather Brown. She is one of the coordinators of Toys for Tots for the Resource Center. Steve and I have introduced the show, but we really don't have any feel for how it's gone for Toys for Tots this year to this point as the distribution is beginning. So, Heather, how's it gone?
It's been going very, very well. Some of our collection sites have been outstanding this year. Some of the new sites have really, really come through. And as you see all the activity in the room right now, toys are coming in. Today is really the last day, so it's very, very overwhelming this year.
Now, number of toys. Do you have all the toys you think you're going to need at this point?
We think we're in good shape, but I always get a little bit nervous because we're only starting to give out right now. So we've got 3 full days ahead of us. We have to make it through Monday, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'll remind listeners that this is being recorded the Friday before Christmas, and we'll do an update right at the end of the show that will be recorded following the distribution. Heather, the location here at Allied Alarm, it looks like it's worked out very well for you.
It has. We are so happy. Mike Roberts was so gracious to donate this space. We have light, we have heat, the volunteers are able to move freely about, so we're always fortunate to partner with a community member like Mike to make the space available to us.
Now, let's talk for a moment about what exactly is happening, because there are people all around us. Steve noted 16, 20 people in the room right now. Who are these people? What are they doing?
These are all case managers, social workers, different people that work at community agencies like DSS, the Resource Center, Aspire was here, COI, the Jamestown Community Learning Council, and they're filling bags for family members that they support.
Now, the other thing that is kind of interesting is I've looked through the selection of toys this year, and I haven't seen everything yet, is that it seems particularly nice, especially for teenagers and some of the older children you've sometimes had trouble finding things for.
We have. And the foundation this year supported us and sent a lot of the things you see for the teenagers. And that's always a good partnership. Obviously, we're one of the local community organizations. And when we put a shout out to the foundation, they're able to ship us toys also to fill in the gaps of what's not donated locally.
So when you say the foundation, you're talking about the Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots.
Yes, I am. The Marine Corps Reserve Toys for Tots Foundation that's based in Quantico. So, say, for example, when people make just a national donation, it goes to the foundation, and they dole out toys accordingly based on need across the country to different campaigns.
Now, I realize that this is kind of a hectic afternoon for you, too, as we speak. Do you have a minute or so to answer a couple of other questions?
Sure.
How does it all work, then, in terms of the toys that have been collected? People have put them in your various barrels all over this community, this county. county for the last month or so. They all come in here, and then they go out, distributed to children. How do you accomplish all of that, to know what you have, to know where it's going? Tell me a little bit about the process.
Well, we have volunteers come down a couple times a week. So as the collection barrels come in, we've set it up to what we call as our mini little toy store here. So every week we've had volunteers come in and sort, the Barbie dolls are together by the Barbie dolls, and the games are by the games, and the stocking stuffers are in one section of the room. So then when one of the volunteers comes in, it has the families listed with all the children's names. So they're able to take that list and walk around the room and put the exact appropriate toys in that bag for that child and for that family. So it's all matched up, and then they leave. And
how many toys per young person?
Every young person gets one large toy and a couple stocking stuffers. And then we've also been fortunate. We had a huge donation of really fun, warm, comfy socks. So it looks like the volunteers are throwing in some socks and stuffed animals. We have this big pile of stuffed animals, every shape and form. So sometimes kids get one of those, too.
Well, and young people or lovers of toys out there, regardless of age, are going to wish they were here right now as they hear you describe everything that's in the room. Another bicycle just walked itself up the stairs. I've only been here a few minutes. That's about the fourth or fifth one I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's amazing. As you see, the toys are coming in as fast as we're bagging them up right now. So this is really a fun day when you see them coming in and going out.
Now, I'm going to get to Terry, but she's busy at the moment, the other coordinator, Terry Johnson. But Steve Watterson said your husband is here working.
He is. I've got my husband, Sam Triscari, over there today. He's been coming each week and volunteering with me, so he's doing a great job. He knows where everything is. He's kind of the heavy here, lifting things for me.
I'm going to go find him for a moment, and we'll get back to Terry.
So pleased.
Steve, come on over here with me. We'll find Sam Triscari. Santa Sam, could we interrupt you for a moment?
Sure can.
Well, your wife, Heather, was just on the air with us here setting up what's happening this afternoon at Toy Central. And you have the proverbial bag full of toys right here at your feet.
The never-ending bag of toys. They keep coming in, and we keep sorting them out on different areas and different tables and things like that for different age groups.
So these are toys that are just incoming now that you're organizing?
Yes, these are the ones that have been coming in from the barrels all around town. Companies, small businesses have been donating the barrels and the toys, and we're sorting them out right now.
Now, being married to a coordinator for Toys for Tots, I bet that you have been involved in this in years past.
Yes, this is probably about the 10th year I've been involved with it on a regular basis. Your
impression, Sam, of the toys, the things that have been given this year?
This is probably the most amount of toys, and I think the highest quality amount of toys, especially for the young girls and boys, teenage boys and girls. Those types of things are really high quality this year and a larger variety.
Well, we've just come into the section where there's some smaller things for younger children. There's a ton of little cars and trucks and fun things with wheels right over here, and you're unloading more.
Unloading more. We have an unbelievable amount of Matchbox and anything that has a wheel this year, motorcycles, cars, trucks, everything like that. We have a real good supply of those this year.
How does it make you feel to do this work, Sam?
Oh, it's good. It feels real good when the parents come in, especially if they come in with some of their little kids, and they got a smile on their face and they say thank you, and that's real nice.
I guess one other question for you, and I'll let you continue to unpack your bag, Santa Sam. What's it like to be married to a coordinator for Toys for Tots in terms of all of the pressures and the needs and the shopping lists that we all have for the holidays, and then all of this added in on top?
She does a great job, and she starts this about in October, and it doesn't end until about January 1st. And between all that time, she puts together a Thanksgiving dinner for about 20, 25 our family members, plus Christmas, and gets the shopping done. So Heather's a machine. She's she just keeps going and going.
Well, Sam, thank you. Even though this airs right after the holiday, when people finally hear this, Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Terry Johnson doesn't have anybody asking her a question at the moment, so she's the other coordinator for Toys for Tots for the Resource Center. And if we haven't made it clear, the Resource Center collects and distributes toys. Oh, Steve Watterson has a beautiful penguin in his hand.
It's like Happy Feet.
I know, it does look terrific, yeah. Looks like it belongs to... Anyway, let's get back to the serious subject before this gets too frivolous. Terry Johnson, from your perspective, how has it gone this year?
Amazing, actually. Every year I think we talk about how nervous we get, but I think we've just kind of had a sense of ease about us this year. We're still unclear of what our ending numbers are going to be and if there's going to be enough stuff, but it just seems like things keep coming in, and we keep getting calls of, I've got some toys or I've got this and want to donate it, and it just seems like everything's really coming together. So like I said, we don't know the end result yet, but I feel more comfortable this year than I think I have in previous years.
I will tell you that just standing here, and I've been here for a few minutes getting ready to do this show and starting the recording, and more faces, people I recognize from the Resource Center keep coming up the stairs with more and more bags and boxes full of toys. I mean, it's quite overwhelming.
It is, and I think what's even more exciting is some of the faces that are coming up the stairs with more and more toys don't work at the Resource Center, just to show the community involvement and how so many people, whether they work at the Resource Center or not, have gotten involved in this effort over the years, that it has become really a community function and not just a Resource Center function, which I think speaks really true to our community.
Any particular thank yous that we need to make sure we get into this show before we get any further along today, Terry, in terms of those who have joined on new this year or made an extra special effort for Toys for Tots?
Well, certainly I would be remiss if I didn't thank Mike Roberts and the team at Allied Alarm for their hospitality and all of the support that they've given us. We've been down here sorting toys for the last month or so, and they're down here checking in on us. They even brought us a Christmas tree for us to get in the holiday spirit, as if all of these toys wouldn't be enough to get us in the holiday spirit.
Decorated and lit as well, yeah.
Yeah, so he sent me an email last week just to let us know that they put a Christmas tree in here for us, which I thought was wonderful. But the support that they gave us during our regular work days by receiving shipments for us when we can't be here, to us is priceless, because it really made things go so much smoother from our perspective, and that kind of support is so valuable that to him it didn't seem like any big deal. It was just their guys pitching in, like lending a couple muscles, but to Heather and I, it was beyond what we would have expected by him giving us the space.
And cash contributions have come well too?
Yeah, we've been getting cash contributions. We got the majority of them early in the season back in October when we did our kickoff, but they've been trickling in. We've continued to get some, and I just made a deposit yesterday so to bring us back up. So what that means for us is that as we are bagging in the next day or two, if we start running low in certain age groups, we'll be able to go purchase toys so that we know we will have enough to fill the need for the community, because we do have some money that has just come in recently that we'll be able to put towards some gaps that we may have.
I know you got a lot of work to get back to, but it must do your heart good, you and Heather both, to know that will we make it, and you get to this point and just the abundance of toys and all that keeps rolling in here, it's got to give you a certain relief, certain catharsis, and as well as just a joy.
Absolutely. It certainly will help us sleep tonight knowing that we feel like we're in a comfortable place.
Terry Johnson, thank you very much.
Thanks, Dennis. Have a Merry Christmas.
Terry Johnson has pointed me in the direction of one person. Let's step over here so we can get out of the busy shoppers and packers. I'm not sure what the right term is, but a lot of people working around us. What is your name?
My name is Betty Harrier.
And Betty, where are you from? What organization are you representing here today?
I work for Jamestown Community Learning Council.
What does the Learning Council do?
We do home visits. We go into the homes and work with parents and their children, and we do age-appropriate developmental activities.
So what age young people would you be working with most of the time?
We do prenatal all the way up to 5 years old.
And how did you get involved in Toys for Tots? Are you shopping for some young people in your program here today?
I am. Some of my families were in need of some Christmas items, so we referred them to Toys for Tots, and I'm here to pick them up. I'm here to pack up some of the toys for them that are appropriate for their age, and I will deliver them to the families.
Okay, Betty, first thing and most important, are you having fun?
Oh, most definitely. This is a great opportunity to come and see other people from the community and to get, like I said, items for our families.
How many young people will you be choosing gifts for?
I'm choosing for nine little children.
What age range?
I start from 2 to 12.
Now, Betty, up to 12?
Up to 12 for the families. The families that I'm working with, they also have older children.
So some of them will be getting toys too.
As well, yes.
Now, you've done this in past years.
I have. This is probably my 5th year doing it.
Well, a lot of questions come with that. How does it make you feel to be able to help with this process?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm glad when I take these bags to the family members. The parents are so happy. They're excited that they're able to give their children a happy Christmas.
And the other question might be, what's the selection this year? I mean, you've done this in past years. It looks pretty good to me, Steve.
Yes. I'm sorry, this is such a great selection this year. What an opportunity to come in and just be able to grab so many little gifts for these children. Like I said, we work on their developmental skills, so there's a lot of developmental toys here for these children.
How meaningful is it? Sometimes a lot of us are not in contact with those in the community who have real need. But these few toys will make a real difference to some of these young people and their families.
Oh, most definitely. This is, as we know, a very stressful time of the year, so it relieves a lot of the stress off the families.
I just want to have you say a little bit more about the Community Learning Council and the success that you have. We've often heard it said that if you can have the right intervention or do the right things with children at a very young age, you can properly set them up for preschool and school and college and life. Has that been your experience?
Oh, most definitely. Like I said, we go into the homes and we work not only with the children but with the parents as well. So the parents are really involved in their children's development.
What kinds of things do you teach? What kinds of things do you help children accomplish in your work?
Well, when we go in, we work on the 4 different domains, the developmental domains, their language, their social-emotional, their cognitive, and their motor skills. This is what we are focusing on to make sure that they're ready for school.
Well, Betty, thank you for your time. It's been a joy talking to you. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well, and thank you for doing this.
Quick check-in with Steve Watterson just to find out what he's carrying in his...
I got a Spider-Man figurine. I'm not sure if he goes with dolls or if there's a superhero subset. It's really quite a big place full of toys here, Dennis.
Well, and I was just kind of curious as to whether you were eyeing that for somebody you knew.
No, just trying to find where Spidey goes. And I may just have to put him in with toys or dolls and call it a day.
All right, well, I'll catch up with you again in a couple of minutes here. What is your name?
Nikki Brunez.
Nikki Brunez.
Yes.
Nikki, nice to meet you. What is your role at the Resource Center? What are you doing here today?
I'm a care coordinator for the Balancing Incentive Program, and my other hat is an intern for the Article 31 outpatient counseling.
I'm not sure that I understood anything that you just said to me, so you might have to explain that in other words.
Sure. So
the regular work is...
I help enhance people's independence out in the community, and I also intern as a clinician for mental health counseling.
You said before we got on the recording today that you're collecting toys for one child today.
It's one family who has 3 kids from ages 5 to about 9.
Have you been able to pick the toys yet?
Not yet. Just walked in.
Oh, okay. Have you ever done this before?
No, this is my first year here, so it's really exciting.
So you've never seen Toy Central before?
I've never seen it. It's amazing.
Well, what do you think about this? Okay, Nikki Brunez, because I've been here many years for Toys for Tots. This is your first time in the room with all of these toys. Describe what you see around here. Just tell the audience what you're looking at, we're looking at as you speak.
Sure. So you walk in, and there's quite, I don't even know how to put it into a numerical amount, a ton amount of toys, and they are all organized, it seems, like age ranges, and yeah, it's just a ton with a lot of people kind of going through. It looks like I can see some other case managers who are bagging toys for families they support.
So this is kind of like Santa's workshop comes to Falcon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like what you see in the movies when they show the North Pole.
You said you were going to be picking toys for 3 young people of what ages?
The youngest, I think, is 5, 7, and then 9.
And the other part of your work, that there's somebody else that you're with here today, you told me that is also choosing a lot of toys as well.
Yeah, she is a mental health counselor, so she has quite a few families that she gathers toys for.
I would say that good selection of toys at Christmas time is probably good for your mental health.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, just being a part of the whole thing.
So what are your career aspirations now? Are you new at the Resource Center relatively?
I am. I started as an intern, and then after my internship, I got the job as a care coordinator, and then I'm in my last year of my master's program, 1 semester left, and I really enjoy the program I'm in right now, so...
What do you hope to do with your life, with your career, be it here at the Resource Center or elsewhere?
Oh, wow. Good question.
Well, you're close to having a master's degree. What have you been pointing at through this work? Anything in particular? I
really like the community integration aspect of it. I've grown up here my whole life and didn't realize really everything this town has to offer. So I've really enjoyed exploring that and linking families with those opportunities as well. Well, nice to have an opportunity to meet you. Have fun here today, and best of luck as you pursue your career. Oh, thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Earlier in this program, both Terry Johnson and Heather Brown spoke in glowing terms about Mike Roberts
and Toy Central this year, the facility that this man who runs Allied Alarm had provided for Toys for Tots. They're so grateful to you, Mike. Thank you for coming back on.
It's I that am grateful for them, and the generosity of this community to stand here in the middle of Toy Central is absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, what do you think of this now?
I am absolutely amazed at the generosity of our community, which I'm really not too amazed at. We live in the most generous community I've ever belonged to. But to see all the volunteers, to see all of the gifts, to see the orchestration that goes into making all of this happen, it is truly a wonderful gift to see.
And seeing all this stuff around here, it kind of makes you want to play, get out a game or start bouncing a ball. Or
Absolutely. You look at you kind of go through and you say, hey, that looks pretty cool. I wouldn't mind opening one of those up and trying it out.
I'm glad you said it out loud, Mike. That's the way I've been feeling throughout this whole broadcast.
No question. And it's amazing to see the number of the same gifts that we see. And I was out a little bit earlier, and one of the ladies had dropped off the gifts from just one Tim Hortons store from one day. And it's 2 huge bags of gifts, which, again, talk to the spirit of this community.
Well, Mike, I know from our earlier broadcast, the first one we did here, when there were only a few toys in one corner of the room here, how much Christmas means to you.
Yes.
And this time of year has great significance to you personally as well as professionally and in your faith. So this must add even like the icing on the cake.
It does. God has put me into this community. He has blessed me beyond anything I could ever have imagined. One of my sayings is I don't know what God's plan is, but it's fun to watch.
Huh.
And this is just another one of those points where I think people understand that it really is truly better to give than to receive. And this is one of those moments where you see, people reaching out and giving to people that they obviously don't know, because they don't know where the gifts are going. But they know that there's somebody out there that might need a little more than they have. And it's all, that's what this season's all about. I mean, to me, God gave us a gift when He gave us His Son, and to see people reaching back out in that same generous and having generosity in their hearts to overwhelm this large room full of gifts, so that some people without can have just a little something.
Well, Mike, again, on behalf of the Toys for Tots coordinators and everybody involved, thank you for the donation of this space, and have a Merry Christmas time.
Merry Christmas to you too, Dennis.
Steve Waterston, I got to stop you for a minute. You've been running around here like one of Santa's helpers while I've been recording these radio interviews.
Well, it's hard not to get in the spirit of things when you see all the activity here. So, we got, a dozen, 15 bags of toys that have come in from area businesses today.
This is just in the last few minutes.
Yeah, while we've been here. So volunteers are going through and just picking out the stuffed animals, the games, the toys, the action figures, and just putting them in the appropriate piles, and waiting to start distributing toys this weekend.
Well, Terry and Heather have, when we've done these broadcasts at this point in the past, and again we're speaking on the 18th as this is being recorded, just before the distribution, pre-Christmas Toys for Tots. They've always been a little on edge. Are we going to have enough of the right things? Will we have the quality and quantity we need? And they seem a little more at ease about it this year, just because of the generosity of the community and interests really everywhere.
Yeah, the room certainly is full of items, and to emphasize, it's not just toys. It's a lot of socks and slippers and other clothing items, because, when teenagers don't necessarily want toys, you and I saw that there was some perfume and fragrances and lotions and other things. So, something for everybody. Toys for Tots helps youths from birth to age 17, and, looks like we're probably looking at supporting 2,400, 2,500 children again this year, and it's just phenomenal. How can you not have a good feeling in your heart witnessing what's going on today and realizing the generosity of the community that comes together and makes all this possible?
Now, one thing that we are going to do is save the last few minutes for a recap with Terry post-distribution, so we're going to have to end soon, but perhaps the capstone for all of this would be to again talk about the Resource Center as a community service organization taking on this extra task of collecting and distributing Toys for Tots with coordinators Heather Brown and Terry Johnson, who have other jobs at the Resource Center, significant administrative jobs now there, and a certain amount of energy from your entire agency goes toward the children of the community at this time every year. I just wanted to put it that way so the audience would understand why you are involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, as most of our listeners know, the Resource Center's main function, as it's been since 1958, has been supporting people with disabilities in their Marine Corps Reserve toy drive in the county, and decided to take that on. And my gosh, look how it's grown. I mean, you've been involved every year that we've been doing this. The first few years, we started creeping in the hundreds. I remember when we got to 1,000, 2,000 families. Now we're up to about 2,500. What we do at the Resource Center, we couldn't do without the community support. We enjoy giving back. We've talked before how individuals with disabilities and their support staff volunteer at literally dozens of area not-for-profit organizations. They help out with the day-to-day activities, delivering meals for Meals on Wheels, helping out the Humane Society, raising money for different causes. So we're a vital part of the community. We enjoy being able to get back, and this is just one of the ways that we do it. And, boy, this is a good way because it makes so many people happy and brings such joy into children's lives.
Well, Steve Watterson, Merry Christmas to you and yours and everyone at the Resource Center, and thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you.
Next voice you hear will be that of Terry Johnson with our recap.
So we ended off the season with serving almost 2,400 kids again this year and just over 1,000 families. So we were right on target of where we've been the last few years.
This is Terry Johnson, and we are speaking at the Resource Center's administrative offices on Dunham Avenue on Wednesday at the conclusion of the distribution. You look relieved, Terry.
I am relieved. Our season couldn't really have gone any better. It was very, very smooth. We made it through, able to fill all of the needs, all of the requests that came in. So I think not only are Heather and I relieved, but I think there's a lot of families in Chautauqua County that are relieved.
And have had, as this is broadcast, a very Merry Christmas, as we are actually on the air the day after Christmas. Some important things before we conclude for the year for Toys for Tots, Terry Johnson. One, any last-minute thank yous to anybody that we may have not mentioned in the earlier part of this program or whose names and contributions should be recognized again?
Well, you know, we had a whole team in Dunkirk that I'm not sure that we mentioned earlier in this broadcast. You know, we do all of our distributions here in Jamestown, but we had over 200 bags that had to go to Dunkirk. So we bagged them in Jamestown and then sent them to Dunkirk. And Marcia Restivo led that charge for us this year, so she came down and gathered a team of people herself that volunteered, picked up the 200 bags, drove them to Dunkirk, unloaded, and then manned the Lakeshore Drive facility for the few days that we were doing the distribution. And she brought the team together, and we could not have possibly done it without her. So I really want to make sure we give her a special shout-out and thank you.
So this went very smoothly at both locations for the distribution that was just beginning as we recorded the earlier segment of this show.
Yes, it really was very smooth. And Heather and I, when we got done, just kind of looked at each other and were in disbelief that things went as they did. And I know I said earlier in the broadcast that the season was going amazing and we felt more comfortable, and it really seemed to follow through the whole way through.
I point out the window as I pose the next question. Did the unseasonably fair weather help you, or doesn't it make any difference?
Oh, it helps us a lot. I was really hoping, though, that we were going to get off those 3 extra days without snow, but we did have snow last Saturday.
Oh, just as you were distributing,
Friday,
right?
as we were bagging and distributing, but it didn't seem to turn any of our volunteers away. We still had about 100 volunteers on Saturday filling up orders for us, but all of that pre-work ahead of time, getting those boxes out and the toys in, a couple times a week through the season, it is so helpful not to be trudging toys through the snow and the muck. So it was very, very helpful for us and the volunteers that were bringing the toys in. I know some people want a white Christmas, but I'm fine without having it.
Well, Terry Johnson, thank you, and thank Heather Brown. Merry Christmas to both of you, the coordinators, and all others at the Resource Center and the community who helped make Toys for Tots possible this year. May you have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday time.
Thank you, Dennis, and Merry Christmas to you and all of the listeners.
And thank you for sharing the vision today.